Good morning everyone. I am Miss Rizalea M. Rivera and today I will going to discuss the different methods in teaching PE and health in elementary grades. And I have prepared 10 methods for this discussion. The first method is direct teaching. Direct teaching is the common method in which the instructor stands in front of the class or group and lectures or advises so as to teach a piece of information. This is also called teacher-centered teaching. For this method, the example is, I as a teacher, our lesson is all about kickball. So in order for my students to better understand our lesson, I will discuss it through visual and verbal because we know that there are students who learn through verbal and there are some students who also learn through visual. That's why it is best for the teacher to use different teaching strategies so that learners will understand the lesson. And this method is appropriate to the learners with disabilities because they don't need to move or perform any activity. Second method is indirect teaching. Indirect teaching is a method in which the instructor assumes a more passive role and guides to the student interactions. This is also called student-centered teaching. So these are the activities examples for this method. We have reflective discussion, concept information, concept attainment, problem solving, guided inquiry, observing, investigating, drawing, or performing hypothesis. So by these examples, students will be able to choose what they prefer, especially to those students with disabilities. Third method, we have movement exploration. It's a method of teaching that involves the use of aids. The aids may include beanbags, benches, hoops, and ropes. Beanbags have the students balance the beanbags on their heads, hands, and feet. Later, they can hit the beanbag into the air. Benches have the students crawl and then walk forward across the bench and then sideways and backwards when they are comfortable. Later, they can jump on and off the bench. Hoops have the students circle the hoops around their arms, legs, and bodies. Ropes have the students practice jumping rope. They can also practice making different shapes with the rope. So these activities are appropriate to the learners with giftedness and talents, especially if they are kinesthetic intelligence. Fourth method, we have cooperative method. In this method, a high degree of interaction between the students and the teacher is observed and it requires a constant flow of information between the two and it will keep both of them active. So we have two variants in cooperative method. First, we have movement practice. The movement is performed by the students for the optimum number of times and is supervised, helped, supported, encouraged, and corrected by the teacher. Second, the discussion. The discussion between the teacher and the taught are important means of education and motor learning. The discussions should be planned and interestingly organized by stimulating the students to actively participate in it. Discussion can be held at any time after training session. A short discussion of 10 to 15 minutes is always advisable. The sample activity in this method is about group activity and this is appropriate to the learners with disabilities because they don't need to perform or act to participate in this activity. All they need to do is to collaborate, cooperate, have a teamwork with their group mates for them to answer the given activity. Fifth method, we have command method. In this method, learning process is completely dominated by the teacher. The teacher's role is all pervasive and student's role is limited to obedience only. The method is useful in teaching drill, marching, set drills such dumbbells, hoops, wands, poles, mass drills, control of general assemblies, rallies, and paradise. For instance, in this activity, I, as a PE teacher, I command my students to go inside the court and form a circle line for the drill that they will do, and as a response of my students, they will go inside the court and they will form a circle line, and this drill is appropriate to the learners with giftedness and talents. And for the learners with disabilities, I will let them to choose what drills they want to do so that they can participate in my PE class. Next is the reciprocal method. In this method, one student acts as the performer while another student evaluates his or her performance as the teacher. The example activity in this method is by pair, which is the student 1 will be the one who will perform and the student 2 will be the one who will critique to the performance of student 1. And if student 1 is done performing, student 2 will be the one who will perform also, and student 1 will be the one who will critique to the performance of student 2. Number 7, we have demonstration method. Demonstration method is based on the theory of learning by imitation. A perfect demonstration of an activity or skill catalyzes mental processes and serves as a model for its practice. The activity in this method is about demonstrating a game. The example game is kickball. So, in order for the students to experience and learn how to play kickball, the teacher will let the students to play, and the teacher will guide her students so that they will know how to play it correctly. And this activity is appropriate to the learners with giftedness and talents because they are actively participate in this activity because they are kinesthetic intelligence, which is they like to move, perform, or demonstrate something. Number 8, task project method. In this method, a physical education task is selected. A proposal is presented by the teacher to a student. The specific assignment is agreed upon and the task is completed. The students then receive a previously prescribed level of credit. These are the activities that are appropriate to the learners with giftedness and talents. We have trip in the mountains, running a given distance in a specified time, attaining a certain score on the pentathlon, demonstration on a agreed level of fitness, organizing a picnic, organizing a short, long duration camp, and organizing athletic meet. And the students with disabilities are appropriate in tasks or activities that are related in writing and researching. Number 9 method, we have lecture method. Classroom corollary of the command style is known as the lecture style, but it allows adequate opportunities to the pupils to ask probe question. Inspection of teacher continues to have full control of the classroom atmosphere. The example of this is the teacher is the one who will talk and discuss, and the students will be the one who will listen on what their teacher is going to discuss. And this is appropriate to the learners with disabilities because they don't need to perform. All they need to have is to listen and understand what their teachers is being taught. Number 10 method, we have discussion method. Discussion method is the most democratic style of teaching, which is useful for the interpretation of rules and regulations of games, tactics and techniques of performance, game strategies, and officiating. The example of this method is about discussing a particular activity or game so that students will be able to understand or know how to play this game. And for the discussion of different strategies or tactics of games, students with disabilities are appropriate to listen or understand this. However, when it comes to performance or performing or demonstrating this game, learners with giftedness and talents are appropriate in this activity.